Welcome to 1202, the Human Factors Podcast. The podcast that covers all things about humans, technology, and particularly the bit in between.
Welcome to this episode of 1202, the Human Factors Podcast. Today's podcast is not really about people, though it's a lot about people, but it's more about an event. And I hope this will be of interest to anyone and everyone who's vaguely heard of human factors, and even if you haven't. Specifically, it's about how the Chartered Institute of Ergonomics and Human Factors are celebrating their 75th anniversary since the formation of the Institute, and hopefully we'll hear a bit more about that later on. Today, I have three guests along with me, which is a first for me to have so many people on at once. And for those of you watching on YouTube, then you're going to see some interesting screen management going on. But to get us going, it gives me great pleasure to welcome Mark Young, Ella-Mae Hubbard, and Ellie King to the studio. So let's turn all them on. Hi, everyone, and welcome in. And we made it, isn't it?
Hi, Barry.
So to get us kicked off, to find out more about this, Mark, can you give us a bit of an introduction to the event? What is it about, and why are we even talking about it?
Yeah, thanks, Barry. Think Human. It's an exhibition, a public exhibition taking place at the Museum of Making in Derby, opening on the 27th of September this year and running until the 22nd of December. And really, it's a vehicle for the 75th anniversary, as you just mentioned. It's 75 years since the Chartered Institute of Ergonomics and Human Factors formed, originally as the Ergonomics Research Society, and it's been through various incarnations since, for the Ergonomics Society, then the Institute of Ergonomics and Human Factors, and now the Chartered Institute. And we had similar exhibitions for the 50th and 60th anniversaries, and with another big milestone coming around, we thought it would be a great idea to hold another one for the 75th. The purpose of it is to engage and enthuse people outside the discipline, so people who might not normally come across human factors, from the wider public through to policymakers, including, of course, our own members. And the idea is to engage, raise awareness of, and enthuse people with this wonderful world that we both know as human factors.
It sounds like it's going to be quite a long-standing event as well. It's on for a significant period of time, and it should be quite good fun. So, why are you three involved in it then? If you can go around each of you, and if you give us a bit about your day job, you know, what do you do normally? Is there such a thing as normal? But what is your role then within the Think Human exhibition? So, Mark, can we kick off with you?
Yeah, sure. My day job is Professor of Human Factors in Transport at the University of Southampton, but my role in this is really as current president of the Chartered Institute. I kind of kicked off this activity a couple of years back by proposing the idea to the Institute Council, because I was involved on the 60th anniversary celebrations too, and I thought it'd be a great idea to do something similar. So I've kind of set the ball rolling, but I'll give all credit to Becky, Ella, and Ellie, who have taken this mantle up and really made it happen over the past year or so, supporting it, gaining the funding for it, and really putting the whole thing together.
Awesome. Ella, if we can move to you, and same question really. So what do you do on a day-to-day basis, but why are you getting involved with this?
Absolutely, yeah. So, I'm an academic as well at Loughborough University. I work in the space of systems engineering and systems ergonomics. So I do a lot of work in people and technology acceptance, getting people to use the sorts of wonderful widgets that my colleagues design around me. I actually did my PhD in ergonomics a lot of years ago, and I've been involved in one way or another really with the Institute since then. Through various volunteer roles. So I was more than happy to get involved in terms of the exhibition and the celebration for the anniversary. And my main role at the moment within the exhibition is actually to run the schools programme. So we're doing some schools workshops and getting some Think Human ambassadors to help us out with those. So really supporting ergonomists to get their message out there.
Fabulous. And Ellie, same with you.
Yeah, so I'm actually not a human factors professional, although in some ways I am. So I am on board as the kind of project manager of the entire thing, and my background is I'm just completing a PhD in user experience and cultural heritage, so applying user experience, which is to human factors, museums, to exhibitions, and to visitor experience, to understand how visitors engage with museums and the exhibits and events that they put on. So I'm now going into consultancy, which means I support various organisations with developing exhibitions and evaluating them and understanding user behaviour, which is how I've ended up being on the project. So I like to say that we're taking a human factors approach to doing a human factors exhibition. That's my role.
Brilliant. And should also mention that we hope to have Becky Grant here today as well to talk about this. She's swanning off in America at the moment and has got some excuse about being in a really nice hotel, enjoying herself, and we couldn't quite make the connection work. But hopefully, we'll catch up with her at a future point. Interesting what you said there, Ellie, about you doing so that UX and the historical experience type thing. That whole UX-HF interaction relationship is a subject of many conferences and debates and things like that. But so I think you're in good company being here. So that's brilliant. We're going to go and take a quick break, and then we're going to come back and get into the conference itself and find out what people can expect to see and really what is going to be going on. So we'll be back right after this.
You're listening to 1202, the Human Factors Podcast. We wanted to take the opportunity to say thank you for your support. You can help further by rating us through your podcast provider, sharing us through social media, and telling your friends and colleagues. Let's work together in raising awareness of the value in putting users at the center of what we do.
And welcome back. And today we're talking about the Think Human exhibition to celebrate 75 years of the Chartered Institute of Ergonomics and Human Factors. So, Mark, if I come back to you, why do we need an exhibition? What do you think it's going to achieve?
I would like to see it achieve the whole engagement agenda and encouraging people to really take human factors to their heart. I mean, human factors is all about users, end users, consumers. There is no part of everyday life that isn't touched by human factors, but we are a relatively small community, as you know, and I just think if it's partly about spreading the word, spreading this wonderful discipline that we're working in, all the varieties of applications and industries that we work in, and helping people to apply it in their everyday lives. I kind of have this idealistic notion that if more people were aware of human factors and applied the human factors thinking in their everyday lives, we'd have maybe better designed products. People would be less inclined to blame themselves when things go wrong, maybe give more product feedback and feed incidents and problems back up the chain, and the whole thing is a virtuous circle. So I'm really keen to see people engage and really become better ambassadors for human factors.
That's cool. I mean, you mentioned earlier that you got involved in the previous one, in the 60th. So you must have seen good things come out of that one to be then motivated to go through this entire ordeal again. What did you see? What did you see come out of the last one that has inspired you to then say, yes, I want to do this again?
Yeah, 100%. We had, I think, you know, I don't want to sort of blow me on trumpet too much, but that exhibition was, I think, a huge success. It actually took place in the Design Museum in London when it was out at Shad Thames, past Tower Bridge, and the footfall and the engagement from visitors and the feedback that we had was just incredible. We had a wide range of exhibits there, all the way through from sort of everyday consumer products up to things like the prototype cockpit for the Bloodhound supersonic car. And I you know, we from a range of audience members, from the very young to the very old, and everybody was coming out with a smile on their face. And I think it really just helped to push that message. And I guess what we'd like to do is reinvigorate that a bit and have more of a legacy coming out of this one.
Cool. So, Ellie, in that case, with this exhibition, what can we expect to see? What's the grand plan? What we're going to see?
Oh, that is a big question. You'll all have to come along and find out. No, so we are. So the exhibition's a really exciting opportunity. So we're working on Barbie, which is the home of the world's first modern factory, and they've got collection of in kind of manufacturing products and collections. So everything from the railways to old factory looms to bicycle, various different things. And the exhibition is kind of in two parts. So the first half is all about overlaying kind of human factors thinking, interpretation of their old products to talk about new human factors design. So for example, signs about passengers and pedestrians kind of around railways and kind of warning signs and things. And we're using that to talk about a really exciting piece of research about the design of kind of sit-outs to keep passengers safe, which has come out of the University of Derby and human factors researchers there. We'll be talking of bicycle lane safety and using a penny farthing to talk about that. So we're doing this kind of juxtaposition of really old stuff and really new human factors thinking is really exciting. Have a dedicated exhibition space where this covers the wonderful world of human factors, talking about our key message of showing how it has this relevance of the everyday. So we're trying to display lots of things that people will have heard of, have seen, have used, maybe even own, and saying, have you thought about how human factors, and kind of showing people all these hidden design elements that they probably won't have even considered before on projects that they will know and love. So one of our key sections, and this is my favourite section of the exhibition, is all about the London Underground, which most people who will have visited the exhibition will have either used or have even heard of. So we're talking about how the design of stations, how the design of signage and safety procedures all enables people to effectively. So the idea is kind of bringing their everyday objects and showing them that hidden world so that they leave and go, oh, I never knew that. And then they can leave and do what Mark was saying and come home and start going, oh, that might have been designed in this way, etc. So that's the kind of key thing. We're also exploring a lot about the people of human factors, so kind of sharing who are these hidden, these unsung heroes, as we call them, who are doing all this design work and everything, and showing what they do, showing the variety jobs within the sector, working in a variety of the different kind of approaches, the different skills you need, what people love about their jobs. And the whole idea about that is really inspiring the next generation of human factors professionals to kind of come in and say, oh, I'm really interested in sport. I might not want to be an athlete, but actually human factors might make an influence on clothing design, training, or kind of various different things around different hobbies that people love, and how they might want to pick those up and say, this might be something for me in the future. So that's kind of a key thing that we wanted to share as well. That's
really cool. You mentioned yourself in the previous section that this is your first engagement with human factors as such. You're doing your UX based PhD. What's been the most interesting thing that you've learned along this journey? Has there been anything that surprised you along the way?
Oh, what has surprised me? I've really loved learning about the underground. I've been on several afternoons, been on complete rabbit holes reading reports from the kind of Transport for London, and we're actually getting some objects from the London Transport Museum, showing some uniform and tube maps and various different things. So that's really exciting. So I've really enjoyed learning about that. I've really enjoyed learning about systems, which was something that I didn't know about before. I kind of knew about ergonomics in terms of office chairs and that kind of thing. So learning about systems and thinking about things like the healthcare system as this one big multifaceted body. Hard to get my head around, I will admit, but it's been really, really fun to learn all of that information, and all the different elements and the variety of the sector has been really rewarding to learn about, and to meet all these wonderful people and work with them. Also, it's brilliant.
I just like it when you mentioned about the systems piece. You could just see Mark and Ella just going, yeah. Very, always like proud parents. Ella, can you give us a bit of an insight, please, into who is getting involved? Because you mentioned earlier about like schools and things like that.
Yeah.
So this isn't just you guys doing everything. There's different ways of engaging and things. So can you tell us a bit more about it?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is really a team effort, and yeah, Becky and Ellie have put a huge amount of work in, but there are other people around that are contributing exhibition pieces, that are contributing, that are supporting various different aspects of the exhibition, which is really great and has really helped us to bring this to life. As Ellie says, it's really lovely. I like to think we're quite a close-knit community within Human Factors, and when you go to conference every year, you see the same faces, and it's lovely, and you catch up, and it's really nice to sort of almost push the doors wide open on that and welcome more people in, not just to the subject but to the community as well. So yeah, I mean, obviously at the Museum of Making, we are welcoming everybody and anybody to that, so it's really nice to be able to talk to such a wide audience about the sort of work that we do and introduce them to that, and do something that my kids can come and see. You know, when I'm lecturing on a day-to-day basis, they don't really want to, but this is something that they're really excited about, and that goes for hopefully for the schools as well. So we've been lucky to get support from the Royal Academy for Engineering through their Ingenious programme to support and train up some ambassadors to help us run this schools programme, and that's going to be sort of like in person at the museum as part of the exhibition. They're going to learn and get their hands on an activity that's all about ergonomics, but also helping us to produce some legacy material. So there'll be some stuff that goes on afterwards, and we'll be running some online workshops as well, so that it's not just people that are local to Derby that can get involved. We're trying to get this as wide as we can, partly because we're so excited about it, really to get as many people involved. So it's great to see sort of members, industrial partners, and as Ellie says, to really celebrate not just the subject but the people that are involved in it.
That's really cool. I hear rumours that you've been having like all sorts of workshops training people up to do things, and they've been an awful lot of fun.
Absolutely, yes. I mean, when you say you're an academic at a university, I don't think people quite expect you to be wandering down through the campus wheeling a table tennis table down through campus, but we did a couple of weeks ago. So we've got our first cohort of ambassadors. We've had them in doing loads of filming, and yeah, getting used to the activity that we're going to be doing. So yes, you will be able to play with our table tennis table if you come to the exhibition. Yeah, it's been a lot of fun as well.
I mean, that sounds a massive draw to be able to go and play table tennis randomly in an exhibition. I mean, who would have thought? Ellie, it was mentioned there around having some online elements. So there is other ways to engage with this. Can you expand on that and let us know how other people, if they can't make it to Derby, what they can do?
Yeah, no, absolutely. So we obviously open at the end of September, and we're open until just before Christmas. So if you are around the vicinity, please do get up there. Prior to that, people can absolutely get involved in terms of sharing the exhibition. So we have things on our LinkedIn, on our social media, from the Institute, but also from Loughborough as well. So if you come across that, please do share and like and show your support and things. It's a real opportunity for you to take family and friends, say this is what I do, a difference to people. So there's that to start with. Yeah, and then we're hopefully getting a kind of online exhibition open virtually after the exhibition closes. So that's some of the key content, some of the key stories, the filming that we did, and various different resources. Not only can people then look through the exhibition again, but also be able to share the school's resources, various different videos about what Human Factors is, direct people to there as well, and kind of become ambassadors almost for the subject a little bit more with in their belt. So yeah.
I mean, that sounds really cool. The fact there's going to be almost an enduring legacy after this is all over. So it's not just a flash in the pan event, although quite a long flash in the pan event, but the fact there is going to be that ongoing piece. It's something for a long time we've spoken about getting more resources out there for schools and things like that, which there are some out there already. So it looks like it'll fit that rather well.
We've done not our legacy.
I was going to say, I mean, just before we go to the final section from each of you, how much? I think a lot of people, when they see events like this, they think that actually just magic happens and things just happen and not much effort goes into these things. But how much time and effort have you guys all put into this? What sort of things have you had to get up to? I mean, Ella, can you give us a bit of an insight into how much effort you've all had to put into it?
Yeah, I mean, for certain members of us, I think like blood, sweat and tears isn't far from what's gone into this. And I think the work that Becky and Ellie have put in puts the rest of us to absolute shame. The amount of effort that's gone in and the amount of work has been brilliant. It's been loads of different things and all sorts of stuff, from sort of convincing sponsors to get involved, to lots of working with people, especially Ellie, working with people to get these exhibition pieces to a state that tell the story that we want to do, and yeah, applying for funding, and yeah, there's been a little bit of table tennis playing in there as well. Some great days at the museum. The Museum of Making have been brilliant partners in this, really supportive, and it's a great venue. So it's been no trouble at all to spend a few of our days there in preparation for this, and many more to come.
Brilliant. Right, I'm just going to play a final break and then we'll get into the final couple of questions.
Gets to the final three. My name's Nick Rome. Let me tell you about this. Technology in our world is evolving at a phenomenal pace, and keeping up with what that means in the human factors world can be challenging. That's where Human Factors Cast comes in. Human Factors Cast is a weekly podcast that highlights and breaks down stories that are chosen by you, the Human Factors community.
New York State is giving out hundreds of robots as companions for the elderly.
Buttons in cars are safer and quicker to use than touchscreen.
A prototype just achieved a major milestone that actually fits the description of a flying car.
The show provides perspective based on experiences from different domains and different industries. We even cover some of the hottest conferences in the field. On this episode, we're recapping CIEHF, Ergonomics and Human Factors Conference, Neuroergonomics Conference, Human Factors and Ergonomics Society, UXPA International. Join me, Nick Rome.
And me, Barry Kirby.
Every Friday morning when Human Factors Cast drops on YouTube and your favorite podcast directory. And remember,
it depends.
And now I'm going to send it back over to Barry for the final three.
And so now for these final three, it's actually, I'm cheating slightly, it's actually final one, but asked 3 times. So it just makes my life a lot easier, and I'm quite lazy. But I really want to get just from each of you, from your own perspective, fundamentally, how would you like this conference, this exhibition to be remembered? So Ellie, if you go first, how would you like it to be remembered?
I would like one person to enroll at a university on a human factors masters and write in their statement that they came to this exhibition and that convinced them to want to do this. I would like one person to do that, and more, hopefully, but we'll go with one for now.
Now the other two are thinking, that's a really good answer. Now what am I going to do to beat it? So Ellie, your turn. How would you like this exhibition to be remembered?
I think it's just convincing people. We're in a world at the moment where technology is everywhere and is changing so quickly. And I want people to come out of the exhibition feeling like that they know they still matter, and that is going to be, and that people are thinking about them in the design of all these future systems.
Nice. And finally, last but not least, Mark, you put all this effort in from pushing it through, like I said, a number of years ago from its inception. How would you like this to be remembered?
Well, first off, all the effort has been on Becky and Ellie and Ella's shoulders. I said that before. I set the ball rolling, but they've taken it and run with it. But really, I mean, the answer's already been given. As Ella was just saying, human factors, we're biased, but it's becoming more and more important in our complex technological world that we live in. And I think if people can take that away, I think you said yourself, Barry, earlier, that a lot of what we do almost goes unnoticed, that when human factors is done well, it's relatively invisible. So if people can just pick up on that, you always notice when stuff goes wrong and when things are badly designed, but it should actually be in the background when they're done well. So people can actually appreciate the effort that's gone in behind those and the stories behind it. And again, that's one great thing about doing this at the Museum of Making. It's all about the story, the design stories behind it. But I want to come back to what Ellie said, and I want many more than one person to come into this, because actually that is what the legacy is about for me. We are seeing a bit of a boon and in human factors awareness in industry, and actually where it counts. And we now need that next generation to come through and join us in that movement. So we really want to encourage and inspire school children, students to think of this as a potential future career option.
Brilliant. I'd like to thank all three of you for giving your time. It's not easy to do this sort of thing and engage, especially when you have various bits of things going wrong. So really, really appreciate you giving up your afternoon. If you want to get involved and find out more about the exhibition, there is a QR code in the top left hand or top right hand, depending on whichever way you're looking at it, corner. That will take you through to the ergonomics page. So the page on the CIEHF website that has more about it. And I thoroughly encourage everybody to go and have a look. I'm certainly really excited about seeing what the fruits of all your hard labor. So thank you very much for sharing it with us. And thank you at home for listening and watching wherever you're consuming this. Firstly, scan the QR code, find out more about the exhibition, and make sure you go. If you've got any questions about what you've heard today, feel free to comment, like, share below, and we'll do our best to get back to you. But for now, we shall say thank you all very much, and we shall see you on the next episode.
Thank you for listening to 1202, the Human Factors Podcast. Please do get in touch with your thoughts, questions, and comments. You can contact us on social media such as Twitter, LinkedIn, and Facebook at 1202 Podcast. See you next time. And remember, it's more than just common sense.